There have been more good than bad, creatively speaking, WWE and AEW in 2025. What started as a bumpy ride for both companies smoothed out and has been a bit with the latter experiencing a renaissance of sorts and the biggest company in the industry still doing huge numbers. That doesn't mean there's been a few hiccups that continue to be in both projects and have drawn frustration from fans. From inconsistencies, creative stop-start pushes and abruptly just storylines, these are the four gripes we have over the current state of WWE and AEW booking trends. Starting off with abrupt droppings of storylines, there's few things worse than this. And both companies have been guilty so far. In March, WWE executed one of the greatest heel turns in history when Cena betrayed Cody Rhodes and aligned with The Rock. By August, amid lackluster creative, the absence of the final boss and the fan base that wanted nothing to do with their hero being a villain, WWE dropped the heel turn, allowing Cena to return to babyfaces for one of the best matches of the year against Cody Rhodes. Triple H and co were not the only ones guilty of booking through 2025. AEW spent weeks telling the story of the Hurt Syndicate potentially joining MJF, and that was quickly dropped. And yeah, we haven't really heard anything of it since. So yeah, it's been a definite gripe throughout the year. Moving on then, Triple H likes to sit at a press conference on reality shows and stating no one, including fans and media, have a clue where WWE is heading creatively. And in 2025, it hasn't always felt like he has either. Unlike the first 2 years of his creative, this year's felt like a mishmash of things stuck together, whereas 23 and 24 brought well executed storylines that sucked fans in. This year it hasn't been the case really. Obviously, we touched on Cena, and then you add in Jey Uso winning the title, not doing a lot with it, and there's been a lot of signs of that. It's a trend WWE must reverse, because Triple H has been a booker who seems to have operated through long-time storylines, but quite a lot this year, it feels like he's forgotten about that. Another example of frustration is stop-start pushes. I think we've seen this quite a lot in AEW as well. Ricochet, for example, had a really hot start to the year, then went on a bit of a losing run, won the international title, etc., etc. But it's just so up and down. It's really hard to, I would say, invest in a character when they're so up and down. For example, in WWE, Ludwig Kaiser was a staple. He went missing. Sheamus, Bron Breakker and Penta have all been inconsistently pushed. Obviously, there's been some unavoidable circumstances, like El Grande Americano, everything going on with Chad Gable. The New Day is another act that underwent a heel turn and hasn't done a lot with it. So yeah, we would love for them just to stick with a project and keep on pushing on with it. And number four is probably the creative approach, is tendency to book for the moment. Yes, it's reflective of social media buzz, etc., but it still leads to disjointed narratives and one-off moments that happen for no other reason than to spike interest in the product. For example, I'll go back to it again, the heel turn, social media buzzed, everyone was aware of it. Instead, Travis Scott slowly disappeared, and I don't think we saw The Rock again. Cody Rhodes' journey, for example, has been another one when we got the big moment with that heel turn. But yeah, since then, it hasn't been a huge amount that's made creative sense. So yeah, it goes back to long-term storylines, and I'd love WWE to implement it properly again in 2026 and going beyond that. Guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.